What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a set booster box, Innistrad Crimson Vow sticker. That's what the LGS here in town, not the one I work for, but the one here in the town I live in, it's what they were selling them for at retail. But I was lucky enough to be the recipient of a prize that they gave away, where I got a handful of stuff, certain things, for super cheap. So we have ourselves a set booster box. Now this is going to be a little different than the draft box that we opened back when Crimson Vow first came out. These have the artwork cards in them. You also have a chance at multiple rares and mythics. So effectively, the way that I kind of, there's Mirage Phalanx is rare, Blood Vial Purveyor. The way that I've always kind of heard it, and it's kind of the best description of it that I've heard, is draft boxes are for play, for if you're playing the game. Set boxes are for collectors. So now we are looking for a couple of the rare lands. Markov Waltzer, Wedding Announcement. It's not the best one. And we do have a list card, and it is a rare. I don't know what set that's from, but Hikori Dust Drinker. Not a card that I can really use at this point, but yeah, definitely an interesting one. We are looking for the foil lands as well, trying to give both my decks a little bit. Demonic Bargain. Ooh, Desolation Angel. That's another rare from the list. Okay. But I'm trying to give my, there's a foil land and it's a foil mountain. I'll take it. I'm trying to give both my decks as much foil treatment or kind of bling treatment as I can. Mirror Hall Mimic, Wash Away, and a Human Soldier token. That's our first token of the video, and I think it's gonna stay the first token of the video, at least for a little bit. So the rares, or the commons and uncommons, there's a Mythic Cemetery Gatekeeper. It's not a bad one either. We'll put mythics there. But the commons and uncommons in this set aren't really, there's not really a whole lot of added value to them. Sure, most of them are playable, or at least a fair few of them are. By invitation only. Most of them are playable in certain aspects. None of them are playable. Ooh, gold stamp signature art card. None of them are playable in either deck that I currently have, except for a couple particular cards that I already have. A couple of the rare lands in this set I do want, just because playing fetch lands in a commander deck, I kind of want lands that come in untapped, or they're a little bit more Libya's Attendance, where there's a little bit more utility and a little bit more value, I guess, where they tap for a black or blue, or they tap for a red or a blue. Like, that's kind of what I'm looking for. But Hopeful Initiate. Let's keep going. We're still on one foil land, one mythic. We're hoping that we can find a couple mythics. There's another foil land. We're hoping we can find a couple mythics. There's a showcase rare. And Stormcarved Coast. That's one of those rare lands that I was looking for. And it does color match my red-blue Spellslinger deck, but Grolnok the Omnivore, unfortunately not one of the more valuable rares out of the set. And being blue-green, I don't really have a lot of utility for him at this point, but still not a bad card to get. That's one of the things I like about Magic, is some of these cards, Welcoming Vampire, and Chandra Dress to Kill emblem. If you remember back to the draft box video we did get Chandra, the Mythic Planeswalker, one of the Mythic Planeswalkers in this set. And we also got her emblem. It's kind of nice to have a second one, you know, in the event that I want to run her in a second deck. Here's two rares, Lantern Flare, Imperious Mindbreaker, Laid to Rest. Because she is red. And whenever you cast a red spell, once you have her emblem up, deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of mana used to cast it. So if you cast a 10 CMC spell, there's another Mythic Mana Form Hellkite. Oh, and Cult of the Waxing Moon, uncommon from, oh, Shadows over Innistrad, I believe. That's actually a really cool one. Really cool one to get out of an Innistrad block set, or an Innistrad product. You know, kind of a throwback to the original Innistrad block. And Olivia Crimson Bride, that's a pretty good mythic there. Serene Sunset. Prevent all combat damage X target creatures would deal this turn. So that's a pretty good one. Leave it to green to have that kind of mechanic. But still cool nonetheless. And Hamlet Vanguard. Still no foil rare, but we do have Relearn. Basically, it's a recurrence spell. Or recurrence sorcery. Return instant sorcery interrupt from graveyard to hand. So definitely in Black Blue Scarab God, where you're trying to get stuff out of your graveyard, it's not a bad one to have. And Dollhouse of Horrors, Shattered Sanctum, borderless foil. If I'm not mistaken, we've got one of these before. I'll put that one there for now, because it is pretty cool. I was kind of hoping for a different borderless foil card, but for it to be one of the rare land cycle cards, I am not gonna really complain. You know, the rare lands are still worth a few bucks a piece, and that one being black and white, I don't really have a whole lot of use for it. Path to Peril and Winged Portent. We have a foil rare. I don't have a whole lot of utility for it. I mean, it'd be nice for the black mana source, but definitely not. I would prefer to have a black-blue in that case. But Howlpack Piper, it's a couple $1 rare. At least it was back when we did the draft video. But it is support for werewolves. If you opened or have a commander deck or anything of the sort from, well, there's Stormcarved Coast, borderless rare. So now we have the borderless and the regular one. Unfortunately, in Commander Singleton rule, I can only have one of those in my deck at a time. So we're going to go the borderless one, of course, just because why not? Right? And enters tapped unless you have 2 or more lands. So as long as you don't turn 1, try to fetch it, it's going to come into play untapped, or turn 1, turn 2 rather. Lana and Elena Partners. Okay. So I don't know where we're really sitting for value, right? The 2 rare land cycle borderless, one being foil, I mean, that's got to be, oh, I'd say 20 bucks-ish. There's a Thundering Mightmare, Headless Rider, Cemetery Prowler Foil Mythic. That's a big one. Excuse me. I don't know if it's dust or something going on in here, but I've been fighting back that sneeze for a while. But we do have ourselves a foil mythic. Oh, wrong stack. It's almost better. Oh, it is better than a foil rare, especially Cemetery Prowler. It's a pretty good mythic in this set. Creepy Puppeteer. Brine Comer uncommon foil. I think we got like 5 packs left. And that's the big thing for me too, is with the, for one, with the local game store, the one here in town, selling these for $119.99 before tax. Yeah, these piles have gotten all screwed up. Edgar Charmed Groom. Okay. It's not a bad one, I don't think. It's kind of a pseudo reprint of Edgar Markov, if I'm not mistaken. But, and Torrens, Fist of the Angels, and foil uncommon Voltaic Visionary. Oh no, we got 6 packs left. Okay, that makes me feel a little better. But with them selling them for $119.99 pre-tax, I mean, that's cheaper than what you can get them for on TCG Player. And Donald, Herald of Wings, we got another mythic. Voice of the Blessed, and foil uncommon. Or foil common, rather. But, yeah, I couldn't really argue, plus the discount they give me on it was pretty nice. I thought about buying a more expensive box of cards, but Hive-Heart Shaman. I looked at this one. Ooh, Brenelin the Moonkraken. Uncommon from Commander. Oh, I don't know what year that's from. But definitely a pretty cool list card. But what I will do is, at the end of the video, I will scan all of the rares, foils, mythics, and list cards. And I will get you guys a total, if I were to sell all of these on TCG Player. Concealing Curtains. Spellbook from 10th edition. But I'll get you guys a value. Roughly, if I was to sell them on TCG Player, what, you know, how much money did I lose? And we do still have our box topper. I don't know if you guys forgot about that. I kind of did until I looked over and saw it getting buried by art cards. But, Consuming Tide. 2 packs left, and then we'll end it with the box topper. But this, you know, this video, depending on what we come up with for total value of cards, is not meant to tell you guys, hey, go open up a bunch of standard Magic set boosters and, you know, and make money, because the majority of the time you won't. Like, let's be honest here. The majority of the time you won't. Unless you hit something really cool. But Anya, Maid of Dishonor. Now let's get into our box topper. Jeez. How much sticky goop do you gotta put on the back of this thing? Oh. We're gonna go sports rip style. What do we have? We have the Three Weird Sisters. This is an alternate artwork of Henrika Damnathi. Foil borderless mythic. Now that box topper might have pushed us over value on this set, or on this box. Very well might have. So, with that being said, we will cut this video here, and I'll be back in, for you, a couple seconds. For me, quite a few minutes, as we figure out roughly what kind of return did we get on this box. So We'll catch you guys in just a few minutes, or a few seconds rather. Okay, and we're back. So this stack of cards is all the foils, rares, and such. List cards. They were not over $2. Now, the reason that $2 is kind of the mark is because, so TCG Player takes, I believe it's 10% of all sales, right? So if I sell a $2 card, they take 20 cents. If I sell a $1 card, they take 10 cents. I still got to pay for shipping, right? Shipping's about 78 cents if you ship PWE. So on most of these cards, that's how they would be shipped. So the problem is with dollar cards, trying to sell dollar cards, is one, there's not as big of a market out there for them. For two, the problem is if I sell a dollar card, I'm really getting 90 cents, right? Then you take the 78 cents out, I'm making 12 cents per card. It's not really worth the time versus $2 cards making a dollar and 12 cents, which is a little bit more worth my time to, you know, package them up, drive out of my way to get to the post office to drop them off. So at the end of the day, I generally only sell $2 cards or more if they're $2 or greater. But that's me. So what we have here, and what I didn't include in the first part of the video, is the buy a box promo, which is a Castle Dracula Volderin estate. It's a borderless foil. The LGS didn't give all of theirs away when they were selling draft boxes, so they gave me one for this. So what we're looking at is we have Wash Away at $2.87, Welcoming Vampire at $4.99 for a regular non-foil rare. It's pretty good. We have the List Hokori Dust Drinker. This is $5.38. Storm-Carved Coast regular $6.08. There's Castle Dracula. This one is $6.97. Cemetery Gatekeeper $7.50. Maniform Hellkite $7.61. Cemetery Prowler Foil Mythic. I figured this one was going to be a little bit higher. Unfortunately, it's not. It is $9.02. Storm-Carved Coast Borderless. This one I will not be selling. This one I will be putting into my red-blue Spellslinger deck, but for the purposes of the video, if I was going to sell it, it'd be $9.96. Olivia Crimson Bride comes in $12.16. Three Weird Sisters, the Henrika Damnathi alternate artwork, borderless foil. Let me make sure. Yep, that is the one. Comes in at $12.45. I figured it was a little bit more expensive than that. And we have Shattered Sanctum, borderless foil, Rare Land Cycle, $15.65. That brings us to a grand total of $100.64. So even with a foil borderless box topper mythic, we still didn't break $119.99, which is what the box cost before tax. Right. In theory, if I sell all these cards, I'd be looking at like $90 hitting my bank account. I wouldn't even see $100. So that is one thing to keep in mind when we're talking about opening cards and stuff that way, especially with Magic the Gathering. A lot of the cards don't start getting to their real value until they've been around a while. The set's been around a while. Right, I would say one of the best cards in this set, in terms of mythics, at least for me, in my opinion, is Necroduality. Right, we saw that in our draft box. Right now it's floating at about $16.50 for the card. I'm pretty sure you can buy them on TCG Player right now for a little cheaper even. And personally, I'm probably going to be buying a handful of them just because of the fact of that card is that good. Right, for those of you that know Magic, I shouldn't have to explain it, but for those of you that don't, the card reads, whenever a non-token zombie enters the battlefield, under your control, create a token that's a copy of that creature. So I don't think I have any zombies in here. I have a wolf, dragon, vampires. Yeah, just vampires. So let's take Olivia Crimson Bride as an example, right? So let's pretend that Olivia Crimson Bride is a zombie, right? We have Necroduality out. We played it. It's on the field, right? We cast this 6 converted mana cost. We play Olivia Crimson Bride, right? It has flying and haste. It can attack the turn it was played, and it has flying, so unless a defending creature also has flying or has reach, it cannot be blocked. So right here it says, whenever Olivia Crimson Bride attacks, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains when you don't control a legendary vampire, exile this creature. So if, let's just swap out vampire for zombie, right? When you don't control a legendary zombie, exile this creature. So this, as long as Olivia is in play, you do not have to exile that target creature card. Now with Necroduality, right, not only do I get 2 of these, right, I have 2, 3, 4, power 3, toughness 4, flying haste when they attack. So I could attack with 2 of them, and when they attack, I get 2 creature cards. I get a trigger off of Necroduality for this copy, and a trigger off Necroduality, let's just take Bride's Gown, off of this copy. Well, now I create a token that is a copy of that creature. So now I don't have 2. I have 4 in one turn. Do we see where that is very powerful? Right, and I could be wrong with interactions a little bit, but the way it was explained to me by a Magic the Gathering judge, as long as the creatures, it doesn't matter where they come from. They can come from your library, they can come from your hand, they can come from your graveyard. As long as it's a non-token, you create a copy. So actually I shouldn't say that. I don't have 4 of these. Right. What I do have is, so whenever target creature attacks, right, enters battlefield, I get 2. 2 of these. Right. Both of them attack. Because this one, let me see if I can get my interactions right. So, Olivia pulls, say, this card out of my graveyard. Right. It's a zombie. It's a non-token zombie. I create a copy of that creature. This one is attacking. Right, so now I get this one out of graveyard, and this one, due to Necroduality, as a copy. Also, due to this, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. So these 2 are tapped, these 2 are not. But do you see how you can expedite your board state with 1 card? As long as you are playing a deck that synergizes with it. Right? So, anyway, folks, unfortunately, we weren't able to hit $119 worth of value. We did get value back greater than what I actually paid. But if I would have bought the box at their price, unfortunately, I'd have lost about 20 bucks. So, the more you know, right? So with that being said, thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider hitting the like button or subscribe down below if you haven't already. It helps the channel out immensely and lets me know that you like this type of content. So with that, take care everyone, and we will catch y'all on the next one.